All right, what's going on YouTube? Today we're out here at Uwharrie. This is a video I've been wanting to do for a while, honestly, just to show off Uwharrie, but also I want to do a bike build breakdown on pretty much everything I've done on my little Polygon T7 here. It's definitely not stock anymore, but I wouldn't say it's like completely built. I just kind of made it better for enduro. But also I wanted to show you guys my local trail system because I live about 20 minutes away from here. I come here as much as I can, but it's a pretty cool little trail system at Uwharrie. I'm going to show you pretty much the best parts of the trails. It's a little 14-mile loop, so it's not too bad. Can be a lot of climbing though. This right here is probably my favorite downhill in the beginning part. This is Wood Run. Phew. Yeah, boy. It's always pretty fun through here. Get some good speed. There's good little poppy sections. And it's really easy to navigate, honestly. Although I have crashed through here a couple times, I'm not gonna lie. Just because all these little rocks and stuff at Uwharrie can catch you off guard a little bit, but it is a fun little trail. Nice little climb through here. Then it gets into a pretty fast section down below. Yeah, look at all this pollen. It's just freaking yellow tint everywhere. Yeah. And that is probably the best part of Wood Run. The rest is just climbing and pedaling, so not much more to see, but I figured this video would be kind of cool to do like a motovlog style. Oh, someone's coming down the trail. So I'm just gonna do a little bike build breakdown while I'm riding. So the Polygon T7 stock. This bike, pretty much a perfect beginner trail bike in my opinion. When I first got it, I rode out here a lot, and a lot of local trails, just kind of chill. I live in North Carolina, but kind of towards the middle of the state, so you get some elevation, but it's mostly just flat-ish out here. So it's perfect for that. I didn't really think I was going to be getting into enduro this like much, but it's a fun sport, so why not spend some money, build a cool bike and race it. So stock, this bike came with some pretty budget things in mind. I bought it for, I believe, about 1,800 bucks. It was on like a Black Friday / Christmas sale. I bought it a couple years ago, and I knew it was a bit like a budget bike, but I'm not a rich man, so I wanted something I could just build up as time goes on. With parts that I liked and that were on sale, to be honest. Anyone who gets into the sport and starts building their bike or just buying better parts, they're gonna learn real quick that this shit is pretty damn expensive. Let's just start with probably the first thing I upgraded, and somewhat the cheapest, which would be the brakes. The stock ones were Tektros. I had a four piston up front and a 2-piston in the rear, which they were fine for trail riding. I went up to Rod Rock Creek one time and very, very quickly realized that those brakes suck dong for more heavy descents. So I very slowly bought these Shimano XT brakes, which they're pretty damn good. I actually love these brakes. They bite really hard, and they've definitely saved my ass multiple times, especially doing enduros and stuff. Man, definitely a good upgrade. I also went just with the 180 mil rotors, just because I'm a pretty light dude. I don't need anything crazy big, although my next bike I have is gonna have like 220, 200 mil rotors, so we'll see how those are. But these little 180 mils do pretty good. They got little aluminum fins, supposedly venting more air to the rotor itself, which I haven't really ran any other brake, but I haven't had any overheating issues with these, which is pretty nice, especially for, again, them being little 180 mils and then racing up in the mountains with them. They do a pretty damn good job. Also, they're 4-piston front and rear, just because I like being able to modulate the power just a little bit. With 4 pistons, they bite hard still, but you don't gotta squeeze as hard as 2-piston, which is kind of nice. It's not so on-off like 2 pistons. But now we're entering the Kiwi Trail, which is without a doubt my favorite trail, but also is the hardest. It's got some really good descents, but there is a massive amount of climbing. Either way you go, actually, this is the best way in my opinion. But if you take the gravel road first and go kind of reverse, at least what I go, the climb is brutal. So I'm gonna show you some of the climbs, the cool descent, but I think you guys like this trail. Oh God, the worst climb, well, worst beginning climb. It's pretty technical. Usually, there's a little bit of moisture. If it rains, that right there is a bitch. Whew. My God, man. 181, oh my God. I haven't been able to go to the gym this week, where I messed up my neck. Just been kind of trying to recover. And I can definitely feel it today. My God. Whew. After 1 week, I turned into a fat ass. All right, let's get into the next thing I upgraded. And that was the dropper post lever. I got this nice little wolf tooth. It's serrated at the end there. So my thumb has definitely never ever slipped off this, which it's not like in a race scenario you're going to be putting up and down your seat a lot, but it's kind of nice just to have, and it looks cool. Also very smooth. But the original one, I have no clue what brand it was. Probably Ling Long Ding Dong. But that thing froze up and broke actually within, I don't know, a couple of months of me owning it. Granted, I was riding in pretty muddy conditions because, again, like I said, I got this bike, I don't know, a little after the first of the year. So in North Carolina, that's still It's winter, but it's mostly just rain and shit. Got the new dropper lever. I had to get the Jaguar cable because again, that thing froze up, which honestly, that took me a while for me to even diagnose that problem because I always thought it was the lever, which partly was the lever. But the cable end got a bunch of junk in it down below the dropper post and froze it up. So had to get a new cable. No big deal, just run it through the bike. And then I also got these really nice waterproof end caps for pretty much your shifter cables and your dropper post cable, which keep the shit out of the cable itself at the ends so that doesn't happen again. So after I got that, no other problems with the dropper post, although the bushing in it is starting to get worn out after 3 years. So it's kind of turning into a piece of junk, but I'm pretty sure the stock one is a Trans-X or something like that. So it's kind of just base model anyway, so it's done its job. Pretty happy with it. Let's open up my shock into a really fun descent. I've crashed on here before too. Oh, high speed, baby. Phew. Oh yeah, good flow, good flow. And then this part of the trail, kind of a cool story. So we had a pretty bad storm roll through here, not a hurricane, it's just a thunderstorm. But this long tree, actually two of them, fell across the trail. And my brother-in-law, Steven, he's got some DeWalt chainsaws. So I borrowed them. I get Mondays off, so I came out here on a Monday and tried cutting up this tree by myself. Ended up getting the saw pinched extremely fucking bad, pretty much right over there actually, and had to leave this bar in the tree overnight. Actually, for a couple of days probably, to be honest. But had to get two of my other buddies, Ben and Nevin. We all came out here, got the bar unstuck, cut down the rest of the tree, well, cut it up, moved all the shit over here, and cleared the trail. So that's kind of cool. Now every time I pass this, I think of that. It's kind of funny. We were trail maintenance guys for a day. And now, another fun descent on the Uwharrie Trail. This one's pretty rocky. First time I came out here, I almost fell off that ledge right here. Kind of funny. Ew. Now, back into some pretty shitty climbing, honestly. It's like rocky like this for quite a while. And it's just a constant ascend. Oh God. So, not the most fun. We can skip this because it's just gonna be me heavily breathing like a fat kid. All right, we're coming up on actually my favorite descent on the Kiwi Trail. It's long, rocky, pretty quick. But before we get into that, I wanted to talk about my contact points on this. It came with some pretty base model grips that were kind of small and I didn't really like. So I'm a motorcycle mechanic, so I get to kind of feel different grips, and I've always liked the ODIs, so I freaking love these things. 100% the best grips, in my opinion. Maybe I'll try Renthals next, but going into Renthal, it came with a 780 mil length bar, which was pretty good, but I just wanted to try something different. Ended up going with the Renthal Fat Bar Lights. They're 760 mil. Again, I'm a 5'5" rider. I'm pretty small, honestly. This is a size small bike, so I wanted to try something a little smaller in my hands, just to try, honestly, just something different. Maybe I wouldn't like it or would like it, but I actually ended up really liking the 760s. They fit me perfectly, to be honest. And then I was messing with the stack height of the bars. Got a measurement down that I liked, so I ended up going with a wolf tooth, just a solid spacer, so it's always set dead nuts to like how I like it. So that was really nice. It's also wolf tooth headset bearings, which the originals, they went out again in probably like a couple months. It started creaking and they pretty much fell apart when I took them apart. So they were trash. This wolf tooth one though, they're stainless steel and they got a really nice sealed bearing in them. So I haven't actually had any problems out of these, and I probably rode with them, I don't know, it's got to be 2 or 3 years now. I pretty much, like I said, they went out in the first couple months. So again, wolf tooth, just having good bearings is very important in my opinion. Also, the seat, the stock one, trash. It was hard as a rock, honestly. I did a lot of research on seats. There's a lot of different opinions on seats, honestly. It's hard to sift through them all, but ended up going with the WTB. On their website, they have kind of a setup tool to measure your, I think it's called like seat bone or something like that. But then they recommend you a seat. Ended up going with the Silverado because that's what fit me. And honestly, it's super comfy. I haven't tested out any other seats, but compared to stock, 10 times better. All right, now that we're done talking about my nice contact points that I'm really liking, it's time to descend. I'm not gonna do anything crazy just because I crashed last week and I don't even have any of my gear on. Like, if I crash, I'm pretty much fucked. But here we go. Woo! Oh yeah. Into another fun section. Oh yeah. Nice little rock slab. I slow down just to look at it. It's really fun to go across, honestly. Even in the wet, this rock out here is pretty grippy. But that was the end of that descent. And then it goes into another hill climb. But whew, damn, I'm freaking out of shape. That 1 week off really killed me. Whew. But after this climb, it goes into another really cool descent. This whole back section of the Kiwi, always fun. But like I said, if you go in reverse, it sucks dong. Just imagine climbing up all that. It sucks. Oh yeah. Woo! Get a little bit of air through here. I think I just got stung. Oh. Damn. Whatever came up and hit me or stung me, that freaking hurt like a mofo. Cool little flowy section. Let's hit the skinny. Woo! Damn, that thing is rotted. My back tire came off a little bit. That was funny. I'm not sure if my camera can see that, but dang, man. It hit me twice. That's gotta be a sting. That hurt. It's probably gonna swell up later. And into the river crossing. I'm kind of a baby. I don't want to get wet. So I'm gonna cross it pretty slowly. But after a storm, that thing is flowing pretty damn good. Been here a couple times in a rainstorm, and yeah, it's pretty fun to go across. Now we are at the part where it's the worst climb on this trail. If you're going this way, if you're going reverse, it's pretty fun downhill, but 100% the worst climb. I'm gonna record it and kind of show you the more technical spots. It's just a really pretty steep grade for a good little ways. Plus add some roots for tech and some rocks. It's a pretty technical climb in my opinion. Always a heart racer one. Honestly, talking about that, oh my God. I'm at 178. Definitely gonna take a break at the top of the hill. All right, here we go. I'm not gonna kill myself up it. Just gonna go first gear and climb. It's probably not gonna look remotely steep at all. It's probably gonna look like a baby climb, to be honest. But trust me when I say this, it's pretty damn hard. That reminds me of a story. The first time they hold let me back up. They hold a XC race out here, and it's pretty damn hard too. Well, me and a couple buddies signed up for it, and we had to climb this, and it just rained the day before. So again, Uwharrie is pretty much all clay and rocks. Not very fun. I don't remember if I walked the bike. To be honest, up here, I think I did, because there's a pretty big route. It's really hard to get traction on, even in the dry. But that race, definitely a hard one. I didn't do it this year because they wanted you to do 2 loops no matter what, which, whew, I'm not XC boy at all, if you can't tell. So I said, to hell with that, and just race enduro. Hard line. Here's another nice rooty section. I'm gonna try the hard line. Ah! Oh, cleaned it, baby. What the hell? All right, I'm gonna take a break here. Talk about a couple other components on my bike. Why is there a random helmet here? Someone take a shit in it? All right, now that we're at the top of the hill, let's talk about drivetrain. Stock, this came with Dior stuff. Just Shimano base Dior. Nothing crazy. Not that fun, honestly. Also came with a KMC chain, which honestly, that thing went out again in a couple months. I don't recommend KMC at all, honestly. I switched over to a Shimano XT chain just because they're honestly not that expensive and they last quite a long time. This is probably my third chain, maybe? I think it's my third. And I actually just checked it this morning and it's still wearing pretty dang good. Got the SLX derailleur, SLX cassette, SLX crank, and a absolute black chain ring. I think it's a 30 tooth, just because I wanted something a little easier for climbing. Also, you can get up to speed pretty quick, which helps with enduros. Also, my cranks are 165, which again, I'm a short boy, so these little 165 cranks spin up pretty quick. And then I went, these are the new race face Chesters. It's like the version 2, it's the newest updated set, I guess, which they work pretty dang good. The last ones I thought were pretty good, but these ones are definitely better. Also went with the Dior XT shift lever, maybe that's what they call it, shifter. I don't know, I'll put the right word up on screen. But I got this because basically during my research, it was saying there's not a lot of difference between the XTR stuff and XT. XTR stuff, in my opinion, is if you're a cross-country dude with a lot of money, go ahead and buy XTR. It's supposedly the lightest, and honestly, even brakes and stuff, the XTR stuff really isn't that much different than the XT stuff, in my opinion. The whole point of this bike was kind of do budget stuff, but make it perform good, which I think I accomplished that pretty good. Another reason why I bought the XT is because you can do 2 upshifts, which is super nice, especially if you're going downhill and then running out of pedal, just click this thing and boom. And then you can do 4 downshifts, which I'm in third right now, so it's only going to do 2 clicks. But that's super nice too, because in North Carolina, there's a lot of enduro stages where it's going to be kind of a climb, so you can just quickly press that thing all the way down, downshift 4 times, and normally you can get into a pretty good climbing gear. That's actually helped me a lot. Pretty happy with the setup. Again, I don't think unless my next bike comes with it, I'll probably stick with the SLX stuff. I'm pretty happy with it. Shifts great, always precise and snappy. Pretty good stuff. All right, getting back on the trail. I want to continue talking about my drivetrain. I forgot to mention that absolute black chainring is an oval, which they say it's supposed to be better for climbing, and I honestly noticed it instantly after I put it on. This is my second chainring, because this is also my second drivetrain, because the first one I completely wore it out. If I were to recommend anything, just to make it, if you're a trail rider, let's just say this. If you're a trail rider and just put in a lot of miles, I have 1000% recommend a oval chain ring. Those things are so sweet, especially in stuff like this where pretty much just constantly pedaling. You can feel it mostly when you're going uphill. With a normal standard round chain ring, you're just kind of pushing the whole time up a hill. But with the oval, it kind of feels like a little boost once it hits like the oval part of the ring. It's kind of hard to explain, honestly, unless you've actually ridden one, but trust me, definitely worth it. Even since I race enduro, it's not like you need one racing, but it helps. Every little bit helps. Also, they're billet aluminum, so it'll look kind of trick on your bike too. It's kind of a cool little upgrade. They're kind of expensive though, and again, they're made out of aluminum, so they don't last that long. So, kind of a double-edged sword. For some reason, these freaking Polygons, man, they have a bad issue of the shifter cable getting like pulled into the frame and basically pinching it off at the derailleur. I actually show you. So right now, this is probably my like 4th cable, to be honest with you. I started getting the Shimano cables just because they're really smooth, honestly, and also pretty tough. But again, I had to get these metal end caps because the plastic ones, they would bend right here, like right here, they'd just start breaking and bend. And then my shifting would get messed up and it act like the cable tension's really tight, which it was, because this thing just bends. Also, these tabs pretty much don't do shit. I've tried zip tying as hard as I could, like with pliers and everything. So they say you're supposed to zip tie it to the swing arm, I guess, itself. But the way I have it set up, it doesn't really look that good, but it works. It still rubs a little bit, you can kind of see this. Just with the suspension moving up and down during enduros, it has a tendency to just wear. But it's just a Polygon thing. Not a huge deal, just kind of annoying. All right, now we're gonna get into a quick little descent here. It's pretty flowy. This is also really fun to ride at night. It's nice and smooth. Oh, that's new. Phew. And that was about it. It's kind of a nice little descent after a climb. It's always kind of fun. If you hit this the opposite way, that little hump back there, pretty nice little jump. Also, it's way easier to come through this section because it's about to get really rooty. And then there's a friggin' death climb again. Not that technical, but it's just again, another constant grade and you're just pedaling the whole time. It's not that fun. This is what I mean about just a constant grade up. It's like this for, I don't know, half a mile. It kind of turns into like goes back into the woods, still climbing. It's a good one to just keep a good constant heart rate at. I usually lock my shock out, throw it in first gear, and just cruise, honestly. No need to just kill yourself up this thing. Especially if you want to do the full 14-mile loop. The Kiwi Trail is hard enough, endurance-wise, so might as well just save yourself for the Super Tree Trail. All right, still on the Kiwi Trail. We're now approaching. Besides the gravel road, this is the fastest part or chunk of trail at Uwharrie. So let's hit it. Ew! Got some nice little bumps in here. I think it's just to catch rain, but you can jump them pretty dang good. That was about it. And now we are at the crossroads of the Super Tree Trail. This is pretty much ending or beginning, depending on which way you're going. But this trail, pretty easy, honestly. There's like one bad climb in it, which I'm gonna be going down it actually, which is kind of nice. It's also jump lines somewhat, So it's pretty fun going this way on it, going the other way starting from the parking lot. The climb is pretty brutal. It's pretty far back, but it's not that bad. Oh, actually there is one pretty bad climb if you're going this way. It goes up a gravel road basically from the power lines, which I'll show you that too. Pretty brutal. That one's steep, but at least it's just a gravel road. So it's easy, just steep. Now we're coming up to a T intersection. This is a hiking trail, but also leads to another section called Whitetail, which I won't be taking today because, to be honest with you, I like Super Tree better, and it also cuts out a lot of pretty fun stuff, honestly, on Super Tree. And Whitetail is also not that fun to go down, so I'm gonna keep going. But that is an option for people who either just don't want to go full Super Tree, or if they actually like Whitetail, which if you do, I'm sorry. Now, let's get into one of my favorite subjects and most fun testing, to be honest with you. Wheels and tires. So, stock T7s come with entity wheels, 27.5s, because I have a small frame, which I'm actually still running, surprisingly. I haven't had really a single issue with these. They do flex, I'm not gonna lie, especially through rock gardens and stuff like that. But if you keep a good spoke tension on them, then they won't really give you any problems. And at least for me, I do really smash on these things pretty hard, but they haven't folded up on me or anything crazy. Knock on wood, like for real. I'm really surprised these things haven't exploded yet. But for what they are, budget wheels, they're pretty nice. One thing I will say though, they are pretty damn heavy. I wish I could upgrade them. It's just the i9 wheels that I want. Of course, I'm going with i9s because I live in North Carolina. Why wouldn't I support local? And also they're really awesome. But i9s are incredibly expensive. And whew, pretty much, I wouldn't say you're paying for the name, but you're kind of paying for the name. And that friggin' Hydra hub, man, it sounds so insane. Which I'd love to get me a custom set of i9 wheels. But again, they're really expensive. These things, they haven't imploded on me yet. So I'm just gonna stick with that. Besides that, I plan on getting a new bike probably around Thanksgiving, get another Black Friday deal or something like that. So I don't want to put too much money into this thing anymore. I'm just going to race it for the rest of the enduro season because I have to, and then sell it. So, and then going on to tires, these things come with 2.6s wide, and I haven't switched from that size at all, honestly. And I've ran a few different options from Schwalbe. It comes with Schwalbe Hans Dampfs, front and rear actually. And I really like those tires. My one buddy Ben, he hates them. Which, I don't know, maybe it's just preference, but I do like the Hans Dampfs. They roll really good. It came in the trail casing, Speed Trail or whatever it is, it's blue. But that was really good, honestly. My current setup is the Magic Mary soft. I forget what casing it is. Let me look real quick actually. Magic Mary Super Trails soft. So Super Trail casing, it's light compared to the downhill stuff. I mean, these tires are pretty damn heavy, to be honest with you. And then in the rear, I have the Big Betty, also Super Trail casing, just to keep it somewhat light. And again, soft compound, which I love these tires. They do really great in enduro stages, especially in steep, loamy stuff. My God, man, that's where these tires shine. They just grab so good. And in the mud, I mean, they aren't like mud tires per se, but they do really good still. I haven't had really any issues out of these. I've also tried the Uwharrie knobby nicks, which I have in the front, and then I had a Hansdampf rear. I ran that setup for a while, mostly just for trail use, honestly. Those were both in the Super Trail casing and the Speed Addicts. Really good roll resistance. They're pretty quick rolling tires. The knobby nick up front, it reminds me of like a mini Magic Mary. It kind of has the same tread pattern, just a little bit more squared off. But that setup was really nice. I also had the Uwharrie Rock Razor, which in my opinion, that was the friggin', if you're trail riding, that's the best tire. It rolls really damn fast. It grips really good in the wet conditions and in dry, especially in the dry. Man, that thing grips. But the only problem I had with it is, maybe it's just the casing, but I kept getting these small little mini punctures in it. And luckily, Mock-Off tire sealant, pretty good stuff. It'd seal it, but it'd still leak really slow. And by the end of it, to begin with, it's not really a knobby tire in the middle. The knobs are really small. So it wore out pretty quick, especially in this rocky stuff. But by the end of it, I had a lot of small little sidewall punctures, and I think I had to patch a couple holes in the center tread, honestly, because I just wanted to get my life out of it. Tires really aren't that cheap, so it's nice to just run it until it's dead. But I love that setup. Again, if you're riding trails, or if you're, let's say flow trails, that would be a good flow trail setup. The knobby nick front and the Rock Razor rear. Also, one really important reason why my Entity wheels haven't blown up is because I run tire inserts. I decided to go with the Tannis Armor tire insert, which I just did it because everyone runs Cushcore, and I'm not really, I don't like to be a follower. I like to try different stuff. But tried the Tannis Armor, and I freaking love these things. They made a huge difference riding. Vibration dampening, big time. You will feel the weight of tire inserts. I think these are a little lighter than like the enduro style Cushcores, but still, you're gonna feel this weight. Like, I can feel it in the tire. In corners though, it does help. The tire doesn't really fold pretty much at all, to be honest with you, unless I'm not that fast either, so it's not like I'm really whipping it into a corner. So they hold up really good. It's about time for a new set though. Last tire change I did, they're starting to degrade a little bit, so. But hell, it's been like 3 years, so that's pretty good on wear and tear and abuse. I've also changed out my tires like pretty regularly, to be honest, so pretty good stuff. Let's get into some downhill. Open my shock up. Let's hit some jumps. Woo! Yeah, boy. Favorite section of Super Tree. Definitely here. Oh yeah. Good stuff, good stuff. And back into climbing. But like I said, current setup, Magic Mary, Big Betty. Really good tire setup for enduro. Rolls pretty quick, grip's amazing. And yeah, I could honestly do a whole video on just tires, because I'd really love to try out another brand. I think my next brand I'm going to go to is Michelin. Just because, again, I'm a motorcycle rider and Michelin's pretty much dominate every category besides dirt bikes. But on the road, they make really good road motorcycle tires. So I want to try them out. They're relatively new to the game. Well, in popularity, they've probably been here forever, but relatively new to the game of mountain biking. And got some pretty good technology. Definitely willing to try them out. One more thing before I get into the most important and most eye-catching, bearings. So I pretty much went through and bought all new bearings for my bike, which is pretty easy to do, to be honest. You just look at the number of the bearing. I'm gonna stop actually. I like this part, and the climb is right after this. But you basically look at the number of the bearing and match it up. And I got, the brand is called Enduro bearings, but every single pivot point on this bike, except for this, these are just Fox bushings. Bearings. I have Enduro hub bearings, but my wheel bearings are just some cheapo stuff. But that made a huge difference, especially in stiffness. I think it helped with the rear travel of the bike and just rigidity back and forth. I ended up going with like pretty much all stainless steel, good enduro bearings. Not like the top shelf. They're probably about like 20-30 a bearing, so kind of pricey but worth it. They made it also the rear travel more smooth, especially after clapping out all my old bearings. When I took them out, pretty much every single one had dirt in them, just because they're cheap bearings and the seals in them aren't really that good. But these enduro bearings holding up really good. I'm actually probably going to take my bike apart here pretty soon and just kind of re-grease everything, make sure everything's running good. I haven't had any creaks or anything, but I'm kind of a bike maintenance nerd, so I just really like going over my bike. But that made a huge difference. If you buy a Polygon and your bearings go out, which they will, honestly, the stock ones suck, buy enduro bearings. A little pricey, but definitely worth it. All right, let's get into a very quick little descent here before we get into that climb I was telling you about, that pretty much hell. But let's do it. Phew. And that was it. Also, this creek here, this gets raging. I've been through here and I've been flat like this, just rolling through it, and it was like going over my feet. Again, that was through a rainstorm, so I think it was coming up pretty good. But here is the climb. They just recently regraded this, which if anyone who works for the park services is watching this video, please don't take offense to this, but your grading skills suck dong. Like, whoever went through this, they did like maybe one pass there, one pass back, maybe. But it is so rocky and not even smooth. It made it like 10 times worse, in my opinion. I mean, look at this. There's mounds everywhere. They dug up a ton of freaking rocks. So whoever graded it, not that good. At least this climb is like really easy to do. Technical wise, like, it's pretty much flat. You just got to pedal up it. But we're almost done with the Super Tree Trail and about to hit the main road. So that was it for Super Tree. Pretty fun trail, like I said. Not very long if you just want to hit it solo and just skip the rest of the trails. Pretty fun one just to like bomb down, or if you want a good little quick heart rate raiser, just bomb it down this trail, push yourself up the climbs. It's pretty easy, honestly. Fun trail. And that is the end of Super Tree. Oh man, that thing's ranked today. To whoever was curious, this gravel road to the left, it leads to where I came out on Kiwi. You can either take Kiwi to the left or hit Super Tree and you end up here. If you go this way to the right and hit Super Tree, you can just come down this gravel road. It'll lead you back to the second parking lot at Uwharrie, which normally I park here because I go down Kiwi first, but I want to hit the gravel road back just as a little breather, and I think it's a little easier run, to be honest with you. The second parking lot also has a outhouse, so if you travel here from long distance and need to lay down the law, there it is. It just really stinks in there, and the park rangers don't really clean it too often. It's not like a hell house in there, but it is kind of gross, so bring hand sanitizer. Also, if you're not from North Carolina, Uwharrie is a national forest, so it's all state land. You can camp here. There's multiple campgrounds on this road. There's one actually right there. There's one behind me. There's a couple behind me actually. So people camp out here all the time. It's pretty cool little place. It's not to be confused with the ORV trails though. This is not part of the ORV trail system. Not even close to it, honestly. It's like on the other side of the forest. So if you're come here just to mountain bike and looking for ORV trails, you got to go quite a ways to make it to the ORV trails. So, but you can mountain bike the ORV trails. So kind of a cool fun fact. This is just kind of like they're just specifically for hiking and mountain biking. Now that we're on the final stretch, let's talk about suspension. Comes with the RockShox Recon Silva RLs or something like that. I don't know. Basically a trail fork. I learned real quickly though that those shocks, for one, can't really adjust them. You have like a couple clicks of rebound, couple clicks of compression, and that's about it, honestly. You can, obviously it's an air shock, so you can like set your preload, but it's a very basic shock. I think it's like 32 mil. It was definitely not ready for my first like enduro race, which I did run it down, but damn man, that thing squished so bad. So another Black Friday deal. I got this friggin' amazing, I love this thing, the Fox 36 factory, and never look back. Tuning it, I'm not gonna lie, this thing has so many different, it has high and low speed rebound, high and low speed compression, so you can really tune it for whatever you want, honestly. It's hard to find. I'm always messing with it, I'm not gonna lie. I think that's just a Fox thing, maybe it's just me, but I'm always messing with compression. Once you get rebound dialed in after you set sag, that's pretty easy. Like I don't think I ever touch rebound unless it's like a very certain condition I'm going for, or I don't know, maybe I'm doing jumps or something like that. I hardly ever touch rebound, but high and low speed compression, I'm pretty much always messing with that, especially after racing enduro. And then I come over and do this stuff, like I had to soften it up a little bit because all these little small bumps, you can feel them pretty good just riding trail because it's set up a little stiffer. But pretty supple ride. Again, I really love my Fox fork. And then rear shock, this is actually off a T8. It's a Fox DPS. I think it's a float. Is it a float? Yeah, float, maybe. I'll put it up on screen. But this thing is pretty sweet. It was good for the speed I was going for. Not saying I'm like super fast now, but I'm starting, in my opinion, I'm starting to outride the shock. It heats up a lot during long descents. which is not surprising. It's not like, this is a pretty base model shock, so it heats up and just kind of gets stiff, and there's not a lot of adjustment on it, so it's pretty much, it's got a climb switch, which is really nice, honestly. But just starting to outride it, so I'd love to upgrade it, but again, I'm going to be buying a new bike soon, so I'm just going to live with it and deal with it bouncing around in the rear end. But it's not a huge deal. It's just, so on some of these enduro stages and having to fight with the rear end here recently, maybe it just needs to be rebuilt, but I don't know. It's starting to become not my favorite shock for enduro racing. So there it is. A pretty basic overview of my Siskiyou T7. In 2025, it kind of sucks now because they make the T9, which is basically my bike, but just a couple of things different. It comes with a Fox 38 up front and a Fox Flow X rear shock, which I'd love to get my hands on, to be honest with you. If they had the T9 when I was buying mine, I would have bought the T9. That would have been almost perfect for what I'm doing right now. The T9 also comes with TRP brakes, which in my opinion probably aren't as good as the XTs I have. My T7 is probably like a smidge better than the T9. That's just my opinion. If you guys are thinking about buying a Polygon bike, definitely do it. I haven't had any problems, serious problems out of mine. In the beginning stages, they were like cracking frames or whatnot. I haven't had that problem. Obviously, I'm riding it pretty hard, so it's held up for me. It'll definitely hold up for the majority of other people. Also, if you live in North Carolina, come check out Uwharrie. Always a pretty good trail system. It's not very long, like I said, it's like 14 miles. You can split it up each trail. Wood Run and Super Tree, both are like maybe 4 or 5 miles a piece. And then Kiwi is about 8. So again, really not that long. And always just fun to come out here and just ride. Nothing too technical, and it can be hard if you want it to be hard. So that's about wrapping up my video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and see you in the next one.